experience for your children to come to school, to interact with mentors that they might not have had an opportunity to interact with, to see people in the workplace doing the kinds of jobs that they might someday go and do, to work with people who have created companies, have built new things. Over the last year, we've had everybody from the CEO of Microsoft spend a few hours in our school interacting with the kids, to dozens and dozens of people like me and other private sector leaders who have been in the school mentoring and sharing what we know about the industry. This is an interesting school. It's different than I think a lot of the other schools that you might have seen. First, I will tell you that we're a startup. In the technology world, you hear a lot about startups, and this school is also just a startup. And in a startup, things aren't necessarily perfect. We're not perfect yet. We know where we're going, and we like to think of ourselves as having the right plan, but we also know that to be successful, we have to have the right raw material. We have to have the right students in our school that we can actually inspire, that we can impart our knowledge onto. You have to have hopes and dreams in a startup. If you're an entrepreneur and you know where you're going, you have to imagine what that someday will look like. And you have to doggedly chase those hopes and dreams. You have to find opportunities and pivot and change whenever things don't quite work out the way that you expect. This is what happens in a typical startup company, a typical technology business that gets built. And that's what happens in our school. But more than our school being a startup, what we recognize is that the real startup is the student sitting in the chair right now. Each one of the kids who go to Chicago Technology Academy are in and of themselves a startup. And for them to be successful, they have to have a team of people around them. They have to have people who make their ideas better, who make their hopes and dreams bigger, and who give them the skills that they need to be successful. And that's the approach that we take with this school every day, is we look at each one of our students and we treat them as if they're the most important startup project that we could be working with. And we teach them to work collaboratively with each other on making themselves better. Tonight, I got to tell you, is candidly a very bittersweet night for me. This is now our third freshman class, and I'm enormously proud of the work that's been done over the last 3 years to get this school to this point. I am thrilled when I look out over the audience here in a moment and see kids excited and parents cheering because their kids have gotten into this school. I am heartbroken whenever I look out and see sitting in the chair next to them a student who's still waiting to see their name called. Over 1,000 applicants are a part of this year's class, and only 250 will be chosen. So the final thought that I want to leave is with the student whose name may get called. I want to tell you that this school is hard. I want to tell you that you will go to school longer, more hours. You will do more difficult work than you might do at other schools. That a great deal more is expected of you than you might find at other high schools. And that we really don't accept anything less than your absolute best effort. So if tonight you see your name called, and there's even a shadow of doubt in your mind as to whether or not you're ready to make a commitment back to this school and to the other students that are around you, if there's a doubt in your mind as to whether or not this is the right place for you, I have one message. Get out of the way. Slide over. Because there's some student sitting next to you who really, really wants in this school. There's some student sitting next to you who's going to come here and who's going to meet some mentor, who's going to spend the next 3 or 4 years with them, who's going to inspire them, who's going to set high expectations, who's going to give them skills that they never thought that they could get, who's going to teach them computer programming, who's going to teach them to think entrepreneurially, who's going to teach them to think analytically, to solve problems, to identify challenges and create solutions. There's some student sitting in a chair there tonight who's going to come to this school, who's going to walk out of this school and go to college, who's going to go start a business, who's going to create a tremendous success for themselves, who's going to create jobs for themselves and other people. That student's actually in this chair, in this room tonight. And if you're not that student, I wish you well, but I also wish you would leave.